Welcome back. How to Steal Your Thunder 101. Welcome back to the D-Class Moto podcast, where we talk about dirt bikes.
Welcome back. If you notice that we are covered in sweat, it's because it's about
102 degrees in the garage.
at least.
But with the fans on, it is so much nicer. Like, so much nicer.
I wouldn't call it so much nicer. I'm still kind of miserable. But
Sure.
if you're wondering why we're drenched in sweat, now
It's
you
hot
know.
in here.
It's because we film in a garage.
The reason why we're dripping in
summer.
sweat is our passion for the podcast. We just want to do this so bad. We will sacrifice anything, means possible to produce content for you guys.
Obviously, based on how often we upload.
Correct.
So we've got a guest on today.
Special guest.
Everyone give a
Introduce
big old
yourself.
round of applause for David Young. David is the owner of this bike that you see sometimes in the background of our podcast. That
You might notice the dust collector back in the corner every now and then. But
yeah, David, when was the last time you rode that thing?
No comment.
last time we went to Joe's,
6 months ago?
maybe.
It wasn't this year.
Was it cold out?
Not yet.
What? Not yet. So it was like the
I
fall.
think it was fall, honestly. I'm not going to lie. But the story behind it is like Connor and I, Connor started it, but kind of had, like a COVID life crisis and decided to buy dirt bikes again. So
Yeah. Hopefully it's a quarter life crisis.
yeah.
If it's
Well-
a midlife crisis, then
Time's running out.
Yeah.
living to 50.
Well, Connor bought one and I grew up on him too, same as Connor. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want a dirt bike again too. And sure enough, Facebook Marketplace, found one
Price
kind of
is
by
right.
Connor's house. We picked it up.
We beat out the stimulus surge. in
Yeah,
bike
that was like the week the stimulus checks came out.
So
Dang.
one thing I did want to talk about on the podcast today was like buying bikes, because all three of us have gone through the Facebook Marketplace two-stroke
Ooh, yeah.
world of buying bikes.
That's a good topic because there are so many like ads on Marketplace, and you could be looking at like a great bike, and you could be looking at like not so great of a bike. But the thing is,
this bike, not
even-
so great of a bike.
even the not so great bikes are still
you can turn
selling.
them into good bikes.
Yeah, you can. Not only can you turn them in, but they are so expensive. Like for what they are. Like I bought that bike for $2,000, and there's no way I could have ridden it without replacing like a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
When did you bought yours? Kind of after everyone got their stimulus checks though, and
yeah,
you got really lucky.
yeah,
with yours, honestly. Even though
they're all sold.
you
pretty
paid more than me and David did, but you still paid less than
Wait, what'd you pay for yours?
much. $2,000.
Oh, I mean, I paid
you paid like 18.
18 too.
I
So
paid, I paid 18.
we
for
were all
mine.
around the same.
Y'all had running and riding dirt bikes for less than
Yeah.
$2,000.
Yeah.
David got
Holy
an
cow.
03 for 18.
That was one of the cheapest bikes online, and it was within like price per mile. I was kind of looking at, and like that one was relatively the closest per
Yeah.
price.
Yeah, so if we want to kind of talk through like I guess how we got the bikes that I don't have my bike anymore, but the bikes that we have / had. So I was the first one of the three of us to dive in to the dirt bike world again. Basically, like this was January 2020.
Yeah.
I'd sold my boat and I was debating buying another boat, and I was like, I had this like extra money in my savings account, and I was like, I'd really gotten into watching those two-stroke rebuild videos on YouTube, like Cam Namella, Tyler Monigan, like that whole group of guys. And so my original thought, so I didn't know a single person that rode dirt bikes, and me and my dad went to Durham Town on Christmas break of it would have been 2019.
Dang.
Thanks. That was, wait,
No,
no,
it was
that would have been 2020. It was
Yeah.
2021 when I bought my bike.
Yeah.
When we all got bikes. So yeah, we were a year off of when we were talking about it earlier. I keep forgetting it's 2022 now.
Right.
Yeah.
Time flies, man.
So December 2020, me and my dad went to Durham Town. I convinced him, hey, let's go like rent bikes. Like, gosh,
oops.
for those listening, Hayden just had a major spill.
Take this guy anywhere.
I need a sippy cup, bro. I'm
oh
telling
my
you.
gosh, it's kind of is a sippy cup. How did you
Oh.
spill that?
That is true.
Me and David both have these open-faced plastic cups. You got your
Little Yeti
$40 Yeti with the sippy cup lid, and you still spilled.
It's like a child.
Anyway,
ASMR.
so oh my gosh. so 2020, me and my dad went to Durham Town. We rented bikes. So I was like, hey, let's go like rent bikes like old times, and or like basically ride what we used to ride when we had bikes.
Yeah.
And we rode, and I was like, man, this was like way more fun than I remember. Like I remember it being fun, but I was like, this is I
yeah.
can't just not keep doing this.
Mm.
So I didn't know anyone that had dirt bikes. and I was like, I've been watching these 2-stroke rebuild videos, and I was like, well, worst case scenario, I'll buy a bike for cheap, put some money into it, flip it.
Yeah.
Even if I flip it and break even, at least I'll have fun tinkering on something.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that 125. I don't even know if I told you, David, before I bought the bike.
No, you just straight up was like,
I think I was like, yeah.
I think I saw it on your Instagram story, and I was like, oh, cool. It's like, sweet.
Oh.
And so somehow I convinced you. I was like, hey, you should start looking for a bike.
Yeah.
And so
Didn't take long.
no, I think I bought mine in January. You bought yours in like maybe February or March.
Into February.
Which I actually, technically, I still own that bike.
Yeah.
So
I was waiting for you to bring that up.
I did the searching. I was searching for the bike on Facebook Marketplace. I knew I wanted that old like early 2000s 2-stroke. So there was quite a few like CR 125s around, just not like near Nashville. So that was the hard part. They were actually all in Georgia, like pretty close to Connor's house. So there's like 5, I feel like, that it looked at.
yeah, so I was down visiting my parents in Georgia, and I think we kind of knew about the bike before I went down there, because I've got this like janky Amazon like bike hauler for my 4Runner when I went to deal with the trailer. And so I brought that thing down there, and me and my dad went to look at this bike for David. And dude, I'm so glad my dad came with us.
Shout out to Connor's dad for the negotiation. Let me tell you,
his job is he's in sales, so he knows how to like work in all those little details.
That dude, he had the bike priced at what, like 26 or something like that.
Something like that.
Holy cow!
And we got it down to like 1800.
Yeah, which I mean, the bike needed some work, so.
But like needed work as in it needed like new fork seals, so like $20 part off a Rocky
But also,
Mountain.
well, we weren't for sure when we got it. So
right. There was a question mark.
First of all, I show up and it's covered in Hooters graphics.
Oh yeah, I should have kept them on.
Honestly,
we need to like show like a before and after picture of my bike.
Yeah, I'll try and throw that in there if I remember. But so we show up, and what really helped us out was I had been messaging the guy about the bike, I think. And I asked him, I said, hey, are the fork seals leaking? And he said, no. And so I show up. First thing I noticed, fork seals are leaking. I was like, yo, these fork seals are leaking. You told me they weren't. And he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I had no idea. And I was like, honestly, it's fine, because this is about to be a major way for me to pull the price down.
Yeah.
And so we were looking at it. The fork seals were like spewing.
Jeez.
And it was so bad that it had gotten all over the brake caliper. And I wasn't sure if it was fork fluid or brake fluid. And so I was like, hey, man, I think the brakes are leaking too. And he was like, oh, man, like, sorry, I had no idea. And somehow we ended up talking down to 1,800, which, I mean, I thought was a fair price for the bike, honestly. Like, I didn't know if it needed, like, luckily all it needed was new fork seals, which is like $20.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, honestly, I don't know. It could be a lot of money to fix. And so we ended up picking it up for 18.
Your dad pulled the final straw though, and I remember I was on FaceTime with him.
Yeah,
And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well,
He's
and so
I can see him saying that.
yeah.
And so also the guy that we were buying it from, he kind of messed up, because right up front he told us, he was like, yeah, right after this I'm going to look at a new bike.
Oh,
we're like, got him locked in right there.
And so I was like, so this guy like really wants to sell the bike right now.
Mm.
And so I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we took advantage of him. Like we paid, it was a fair price
the
for
bike,
what it was.
I put some money into the bike
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, you
but
didn't just ride it.
No.
But we got a good deal on that bike. Also, this was like pre-stimulus check, where all the bikes, I mean, right now you couldn't buy that bike for probably less than $3,500.
Yeah. I mean,
In the condition it was.
yeah.
Yeah. So did I tell you about how I got my bike? Really about, I mean, there's not really a crazy story to it, but I found it on Marketplace for like 1,900. It went up. I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, can I come check it out? It was down in Franklin, Tennessee, which is only like 20 minutes from me.
What?
Yeah,
Is it Franklin?
I took
It's like a local.
yeah.
It's hard to find.
I took Brady, my roommate, with me. He doesn't really know much about dirt bikes. So I was like, hey man, if it's like a bad idea, like don't let me buy this bike. And so we get down there. I was like, I think I said like, hey, can you take 17? And he was like, dude, honestly, I've had like 30 people message me about this bike, which I believed him. Like he wasn't like, it was a really good deal as he's had it. So basically the guy that I bought it from, he was like a 4-wheeler mechanic. Like he basically flipped 4-wheelers. He had gotten this dirt bike as part of a trade. And so he didn't really want to deal with it. When I bought it, it was like extremely loud. And I didn't know what was wrong with it.
What do you mean loud?
I remember that.
Like it was just loud. Like, and I hadn't been around 2-strokes much. So I was like, well, maybe this is how it is. I don't know. But I ended up.
Is a header not attached?
So
properly, or?
I'll get there.
Oh, okay.
So and it was leaking fork seals a little bit too. The guy told me, he was like, I mean, honestly, like I could do a few things to this thing and sell it for probably $3,000. He's like, I just don't have the time. I'm working on 4-wheelers and stuff. I was like, all right. So I ended up picking it up for 18, I think. Fork seals were like $20, which I had to learn how to do that. That was kind of a process.
I think we all did.
Yeah,
We all spent a night just doing it.
We've done well. Luckily, were you there the first time when I did it?
No, I came after you guys had done it, so you guys kind of knew what was going on.
I did it in my basement. Maybe I did it by myself.
I think you did because I did mine here.
Yeah, because I remember doing mine with you, and you were like, "Oh, I know how to do this," and like,
yeah. Luckily, so all 3 of our bikes have the exact same KYB forks. So I was the guinea pig. I pulled the things apart. I was watching a YouTube video, like a how-to video. I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty easy." I pull them apart. It looks nothing on the inside like the YouTube video I was watching.
That's how it is.
But I ended up figuring it out. So what was wrong with why it was sounding so loud was because there's like the head of the motor, and then there's like a different metal piece that bolts onto the motor, and then the 2-stroke pipe goes on that. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a little black piece. That thing had a hole about this big in it.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. You're losing a ton of power there too.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I mean, I'd only ridden it like around the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like when I first test rode it, I was like, man, I guess just 2 strokes are this loud. Must be whatever.
Dude, that must have been insanely loud.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And so I figured out what the problem was. Like the piece was like $40, which is kind of a lot for like a single piece for a 2-stroke.
OEM stuff's hard to get unless it wasn't OEM.
I mean, I got it on Rocky Mountain, so it was like easy to find, but fixed that, did the fork seals, put new graphics on my bike. I did a few other little things, like I changed the clutch cable. What else did I do to that bike?
You did a couple of things with like the jetting. I minor. You like replaced some
honestly, I didn't put a ton of money into that bike. Sold it about 8 months later for $3,500.
Yeah, that was. I was there, and holy cow! We went from the night that we sold your bike. We went and bought his 4-stroke that night, and it literally all lined up just so perfectly.
It was cool though. Like at that point, I don't know if everybody else knows, but like Hayden's bike is a 2000 CR125.
Oh yeah.
You had a 2001 CR125. This one's a 2002 CR125.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be able to like work on those all together because it basically followed all the same manuals and
I think the motor's identical. Your bike's a little different because
that year
they changed the frame and all that.
So.
But I mean, me and Hayden's bikes were essentially identical.
Yeah, it really was.
And then David's was not that far off.
But I just thought that was cool. Like getting back into it, we all had the same platform basically. So I mean, you know a lot more than we do, but like for me, this was a good project of just like learning how to tinker on stuff and get more like mechanical again. So it was cool to be able to do that all together. But someone had to go to the 4-stroke side,
the dark side.
Yeah, well, now I'm the only one that doesn't work on my bike anymore. So.
I really want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean,
do we want to talk about that? Me and Hayden rode on. So today's Thursday. We rode on Tuesday, and Hayden had a bad day.
You know when somebody hypes up a product and you're like, "Oh, this product is so tried and true. It's so great." Everybody raves about it on the internet, and then you go out and buy that product for yourself, and it is absolute dog water, and it's nothing like you thought it was going to be. That's what happened on Tuesday, and I was upset. I was very upset.
You want to shout out that part?
Yeah. Shout out to Electron carburetors.
I don't want to like rip on them. I think that there's something wrong with your carburetor.
Okay.
They just need to make it right.
Let me start from the beginning. So I got real sick and tired of having to rejet my carb. It would run great, and then the weather would change, and then I'd have to replace like one jet, and like that's not a huge deal replacing like one jet, but
it also takes time of like, I'm out ripping laps and you're like ripping one lap and you're like, oh, I got to come back and change something.
Yeah, exactly. Like mine are like the top end is great. I don't think I've had to touch the top end since I rebuilt like the main jet. If all my, guys out there to know what I'm talking about.
The 2% of people listening that still have carbureted bikes.
all my Suzuki
Talking to you,
fans.
Suzuki.
So anyway, I'm just like kind of over the whole messing with the carb. I just want to ride. Like everybody out there on a 4-stroke is just ripping up the track, and I'm over here, with the seat and tank off my bike, putting a jet in my carb. So I forked out the money and I bought Electron. Got it in the mail. I go to put it on a couple days before we were going to go ride, and the where the carb mounts to the actual motor was too big. And I emailed Electron. I'm like, hey, like this is my part number. This is the photo. I literally showed them a side by side of my Mikuni versus the Electron, and it was like clearly like 3 millimeters different, and like it like did not fit on the boot. And they're like, oh yeah, you're just supposed to put your boot in some boiling water, we'll soften it up. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right. So then I force the carburetor into the boot. I stretch it out, and then I can't get the clamp around it anymore because it's so oversized. And so now it's just like a friction fit with the back half of it holding it, securely. So I got it in, and I'm like, all right, first start, it's idling really high. And
what was weird too was with the choke and it
ran
idled low. And then when you turned off the choke or whatever the right way to say
so
it
the
is.
choke on, it ran like perfect. It idled great, but then you turn the choke off and the thing like really, it started to idle really
which
high.
is kind of the opposite of what you would think it would do.
Yeah. So it was just, I've heard, and like, obviously you have to tune a carburetor, and like, I understand, like, you're probably gonna have to make some sort of adjustments. I was like, all right, I'll have to just like dial the idle in, and because I gave them all the specs, I gave them all the information that I had on my bike on what the setup was, the gas I ran, all that stuff. And it didn't seem to matter to Electron, what I had information wise for them. They're like, no, we sent you the right stuff. You should be good. And then I was like, all right. So we go to the track on Tuesday, and dude, the only thing that was like okay was the top end, and the throttle response was kind of like way down, and it was so rich down low. I pulled the plug and it was completely like fouled, like it was a brand new plug, and I had maybe 15 minutes on it, and it was just completely carbon fouled. And I was like, dude, what the frick? So I pull the carb out and check everything, make sure I check my work and all that. Like, it's not me, it's that's messing up. And I had everything right, and so I'm like, I spent like an hour researching how to like adjust Electron, because it's a brand new carb, so it's like learning how to work on something that I've never worked on before. So I'm spending all this time like working on it, and I got so fed up. I didn't have the right tools. I had to borrow somebody's tools. Like, I was just so frustrated Tuesday. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like my Mikuni was so close to being perfect. All I had to do is just some minor adjustments and work. I was just thinking like, oh, this Electron's going to be plug and play. I won't have any problems with it. And so I've kind of given up. I mean, on the Electron, I think
they might have, companies messed up. I think they sent you the wrong thing.
I don't think they sent me the wrong thing, because she cross-referenced the number and like my make and model, and she said I had the right part, but I'm like, all right, it runs horrible.
Maybe they messed up checking it or something. I don't know. Which apparently they're also a company that's impossible to get on the phone with.
Yeah. So in order to schedule a phone call, you have a 5 minute. Yeah. You have to schedule a phone call. It's a 5 or a 15 minute phone call.
Wow.
5 minute is for like just product information. And then like the 15 minutes for like technical information and stuff like that. And
where
like,
are they based out of?
Honestly, I don't know. I want to say it was like somewhere in the northwest, but
interesting.
Honestly, I don't know. I'd say probably like California or something like that. But anyway,
commies. Someone had to
Californians.
Californians. I'm sure I have the right part, and I'm just gonna have to spend a time like dialing it in and stuff. But at this point, dude, I don't want to spend time learning a new thing.
No, not when you're at the track too, and trying to just ride, and you have to deal with that.
And it's so stressful being at the track, because that's really the only place I can like fine tune the bike, because I don't have, a track in my backyard. I'm not in California where I can go, 15 minutes to a local track. We're driving like 2 hours away to go ride, and my bike doesn't work. I was so heated. I sat down in my chair and I started filming Connor, and I was just like,
oh, you filmed me?
Yeah, I got some footage of you. But like, I'm like, this sucks so bad. Like I was just so heated. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to ruin the day for Connor. So I was like trying to get some footage for Connor and, trying to salvage what, dignity I had left. And then Connor was like nice enough to let me ride his bike for a little bit, which greatly appreciated. I kind of needed to get, that anger out of me. And I just put it all on his rev limiter.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I was sitting there while Hayden was riding my bike, and he came ripping around this corner, like first gear pinned. It's like you can hear the rev limiter. He's like on the ground. It's like, oh my god.
So you're known for doing that,
dude.
'cause
I'm on
I just got a street bike.
Oh,
It was like the no, we gotta hear it. I think it was like the second day I owned it. I brought it over here. It tells you, so it's a 2022 Aprilia Tuono, and it tells you on the screen the max speed. I'd only gotten it up to like 80 or something. I let him ride it, and it comes back and it says 105, and I was like, Hayden, did you have fun there? It's like, oh.
Yeah, I had a blast. That thing was so cool.
Hayden's like, if it's not mine, I'm gonna drive it like I stole it.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
I got lost in this neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what he says. We got lost.
That's a good spot to hit 105.
Then I hear him ripping up the street.
It's like the
Yeah.
He don't miss. I hit every gear.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then I bought a street bike, but
Yeah.
so I'm sure Lectron's a great company, and like they do produce like fantastic equipment. Like I've seen their carburetors at work and do a great job. Like there's people out there that are happy, like they love it. But for where I'm at and what I know, I'd rather spend less time, and like maybe in the future, because it is like a 1-year return policy. So like if I don't like the product for a whole year, like, then I can return it. So
you can keep it?
No, I mean, I'll hang on to it for a little bit, but
I think you need to find a way to get in contact with them and be like, look,
Yeah.
obviously something's wrong.
yeah. And
Can
so-
y'all either fix it or just take this thing back?
Yeah. I don't know
'Cause,
exactly.
like, you're not gonna want to mess with it anymore.
No, I'm gonna.
So the
pull
only
it off
option is
bike,
either
yeah.
return it or for them to fix it.
Yeah, so I bought a jetting kit for my Mikuni. So I have literally like 20 different jets now for that carb, and like any atmosphere change, I can now like just swap out a.
You go into different atmospheres.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna be the first guy to ride a dirt bike on the moon.
Okay.
He was talking about that
yeah.
in the car the other day.
I got
He's like, what if you could ride a dirt bike on the moon? I was like, bro, you can't even jet your bike for down here. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
So
Got Elon
true.
Musk over here.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'll be a rocket man, burning all the sun. Yeah,
Oh my
that'll be me. Yeah, but we all bought bikes around the same time.
Yeah,
and we
you
all
told your story. What's your story of buying one?
I feel like we've told it on here before.
I'll
I
give
met
you
Hayden the next day. He bought a dirt bike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met Connor, and he got me like set on buying a bike just because like he rode already and he knew he had connections. So he's already been out on like a track, and I was like, that's all I need to know is like a place to ride, and I'll buy a dirt bike. And he told me he knew a place, and so later that night I found a bike and I messaged the guy the next day and went and picked it up. It was out in Clarksville, so it was like an hour car ride.
So you've got 2 bikes in Clarksville now.
Yeah, dude,
Those military guys.
dude,
man.
I'm telling you, it's literally the military guys out there.
Two great bikes.
Yeah, 2 great bikes.
2 bikes that run amazing. I do want to talk about the first time me and David ever rode dirt bikes.
All right, let me
Okay, go ahead
finish
and
this up.
wrap up your deal.
So went out there and I test rode it, and this thing was like absolute no. This thing had no power. It literally felt.
Did you
like,
go by yourself?
Yeah. It felt like a Grom, bro. It had no
Sick.
power. So if you can think like how slow Groms are, it was slower than a Grom, and I mean like slow.
How do you know how Groms are? Have you ever ridden one?
Have you seen those things on the road? I will say, I would never buy a Grom, but when I was riding my bike recently, I saw a pack of like 10 of them drive by me, and they're all like, I was like, I mean, it's kind of cool.
I feel like Groms are the 4 locos of the motorcycle world.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah. So anyway, I bought the bike. The guy would not budge off of $2,000, and like honestly, hindsight's 2020. I probably could have gone without buying it, but I wanted a dirt bike.
It was a good deal.
And
if you had waited,
Yes.
any longer, you would have been paying way more than that for a bike.
So the handlebars were bent, and I don't think he knew that, but they were bent.
You also didn't really know that for the first like 5 rides.
They didn't look right, but I also wanted to spend money elsewhere, and so I bought it, brought it home, stripped the whole bike down, took the rear subframe off, took the suspension off, and like pretty much like had it down to just frame and motor and like tires and forks, and like the suspension was still connected to it, and everything else was just like torn off the bike. Replaced all the plastics, did fork seals with Connor,
Took the swing arm off.
took the swing arm off.
You really dug into your bike compared to us on our
The whole
Yeah.
swing arm ordeal was.
Oh yeah. So the rear swing arm, if you've ever adjusted a chain, you'll know that there's like a bolt that's threaded into the swing arm that slides on the axle blocks that moves your axle further backwards so you can adjust your chain. Well, the guy didn't have a bolt there. He had a 7mm socket as the adjustment length. And
It'll
like,
do.
yeah. He said
Was it just like wedged in there?
Yeah, it was literally just wedged in there between the frame and then
It was just
the
friction
block.
holding it together.
Yeah, well, I mean the axle was tight, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't anything else. It
That's
was
what you
just
call a jerry rig.
yeah. And then the chain guide, it had no chain rollers on it, and it had no chain guard. So if you look underneath the plastic chain guard, there's like you can see the track where the the chain. There's like a
Oh my
two
gosh.
track where the chain had scraped across it for I don't know how long, and the chain was loose, so like that thing was finna fall off and like cut my leg up for sure. So I put a ton of hours. Like I think the night that I bought it and brought it home, I had it apart already, and then I dropped like $300 in like parts on it, and that was like initial parts. Like that's not even close to how much I have into this bike.
That
Right
was
now.
Yeah.
just the beginning.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I dropped 300 just on my plastics kit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, how much do you think you've probably spent total on your bike?
I mean,
I don't think David's put too much into it.
got all new plastics. The graphics kit was actually pretty expensive because
Mhm.
I customized the whole thing. I think through Backyard Designs. That was really cool too, but it was close to like $200, I think. So
Okay.
that plus plastics.
Yeah, you did
Miscellaneous.
all new chain and sprockets, right?
Oh, yeah.
New chain, sprocket, new tires,
Fork
Mhm.
seals.
fork seals. I redid everything too. Like
Yeah, that is true. The labor that you probably have into it, like if you were to go to a dealer, that'd probably be account for like something expensive.
a lot of it was like aesthetically. The bike ran great. It's like bored up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
It's like a
forgot.
134.
It's got V4 trees. I mean, it was pretty set up when
Dude.
I got it. So that thing rips
Yeah.
pretty hard.
It's got that
Oh my
Bill's
gosh.
pipe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great bike.
Mhm.
I mean, I wish I could ride it more. I wish there was tracks closer to us. That is the
Yeah.
hard part about like Nashville is we almost missed it by a few years because there used to be about 4 to 5 tracks like within 30
Yeah.
minutes of us right now. Like there's several down in Franklin. Like we could have gotten to them so easily and they all shut down. And that's like so sad to see when some of these tracks like shut down, especially close to you. So
Yeah.
that's what made it hard for me is just like traveling like few hours to like
Yeah,
go
especially
ride.
now.
Yeah.
Dude, me and Hayden, we went on Tuesday. It was only $20 to get in. We spent like $15 on snacks and Gatorade.
Yep.
And we spent $100. No, more than that. It was $100 to fill my truck up. We went through a whole tank of gas on my car to get there and back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what was like 25 for the gas for the bikes?
Yeah. I bought.
So we spent like
2.5,
$125
yeah.
on gas
Yeah. Jeez.
for a Tuesday night ride.
Another reason why I bought a road bike is like I wanted to just be
Yeah.
able to like hop on one and go.
Dude,
Yeah.
you can't throw fat whips on that thing.
You know, I was
you should have seen
I was
Hayden
gonna
today
say-
on the way here. He
I
like
got
got a
air.
speed bump or something. And
Oh my
basically
gosh.
launched his bike.
it
in
was
the air.
right behind what is that high school on like in
Hillsborough High School, back in Green Hills.
like right next to the tennis courts.
There's some like chunk in the road and he just hits it.
I go wow in second gear and I go
Like by my house?
yeah. But it's right. It's actually no.
Closer
to-
it's
closer
close to your
to Lipscomb.
sister's. It's right next to your sister's house.
Oh, yeah.
new
so
apartments?
The high school, it's like in
Yeah,
Green Hill.
yeah,
exactly.
It's over
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Lipscomb.
So then like there's this like weird like lump in the road and I'm like like my eyes just widened and I'm like I stood up and I go what I just seat bounce it. It was so funny.
There's these people like walking their dogs right next to
And you
him.
see
They're
a
just like-
street bike and just like hop it.
I will say too, though, David, since it's been so long that you've ridden, I bet you would be very surprised at how much me and Hayden have improved on our riding.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've gotten in the past like month, I feel like I've gotten so much more comfortable on the bike.
Mm.
I started like riding it like at the top of the like rev range, and when we were at Valentine on Tuesday, I hit all but one jump.
I think we. Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That one was pretty gnarly. Like
What, the one that none
Yeah,
of
the
us
one-
have hit yet?
the one at Valentine. Oh, I thought you said R3. I was thinking R3.
No, I've hit everything at R3.
Okay.
But But at Valentine, I mean, I doubt hardly anyone that's listening knows where that is. It's this place in Kentucky. It's a pretty new track. I think it's only been open a few months.
Yeah.
But they've got one table. It's a freaking.
It's 90 feet.
It's honestly, it isn't that hard.
Yeah.
It's just huge.
It's a lot of commitment.
It's got a lot of run up, easy takeoff.
Yep.
I think it's got plenty of spot area to land before you have to slam on the brakes.
You have plenty of like stopping distance.
But it's just big.
It's a huck. You gotta huck it a little bit. But I will say about David's bike. So, the internals on my bike were absolute garbo too, because the guy never hooked the power valve up to the bike, which is like VTEC for all you car people that listen to this. It's like, imagine having the most flatline curved two-stroke ever. It just makes the power's like linear. And it was really weak. I hopped on David's bike. I about looped out the first time I rode that thing. It has so much power.
Yeah.
For the size and weight of it. It was unreal. Like I was going through the whoops or rollers, I guess you could call them at
Joe's house.
Yeah. And like I was so close from like flipping back on this thing. Like it wheelied through these rollers.
That bike too, like when it hits the power band, it's like
a wall.
It's like a whole different bike.
Yeah, it's like
it's a rocket ship.
It really is. Honestly, you could throw a pilot jet in that thing and wake up the bottom end.
Yeah.
But holy cow, that thing's a rocket ship on the pipe. Unreal. Thing's so much fun to ride.
It's a good one.
If anyone wants to buy it,
Yeah, it's for sale. If anybody wants to come to Nashville,
it's not
and get
officially for sale yet. So
I mean, it kind of. I haven't
it's
posted.
not posted anywhere,
but it's for sale.
Yeah.
If you guys want the
if anyone wants to get it
D-class
before,
podcast scoop.
Dude, we'll give you 10% discount.
Sure, why not?
we're about to sell it on Bring a Trailer for 10 grand. So
There you go.
we'll give it to you for half off.
Yeah,
If you-
but yeah, Connor technically still owns the bike because he bought it in Georgia and I
sale.
wasn't there. I think the bill of sale is still in his name, so
That's funny.
you can buy it from Connor.
Yep. $800 first taker. Just Venmo me.
Venmo me. Imagine buying a bike for 800
I
bucks.
bought a boat over Venmo once.
What?
It was
Dude,
a
everybody
boat.
is so sketched out over Venmo. Like there's so many
Yeah.
things that like I could have been like, dude, I could literally just pay you this in Venmo and like make it so much easier. Cause
Well, it's hard. ATMs don't let you pull out like most.
Well, that's what happened was,
Yeah.
so I went to buy this drift boat for $2 grand. This was a while ago. And it was at like 9:00 at night. Were you with me when I was checking out that boat?
No, I didn't.
I forgot who went with me. It was that old drift boat that I had.
Yeah.
And he had it up for like 28. I talked him down to $2 grand, which was like fair. Honestly, I think it was kind of a piece of crap, but it got us on the water. It's all.
Yeah.
It
it's loaded.
It did its job, yeah. Better than Lady Amazon.
Oh gosh,
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other story. We bought
Jeez.
a raft for $200 on Amazon. We caught fish out of it.
We did.
It was a good time. David actually is the most recent owner of that. But
It's probably. I think it got thrown out because it got popped really bad.
Oh my gosh.
we used to remember we took that thing on Percy
We
Priest.
took it down the Caney on like some high water.
Yeah.
It was not a whitewater raft.
No.
It's like,
So anyway,
I'm thinking of like the orange inflatables you find at like the dollar store. They're like you can fit 2 people in it, but you can't
it
stand
wasn't,
it.
it wasn't far off of that.
We could
Oh,
barely
man.
stand up in it.
That's awesome.
It was kind of cool for. I mean, I think I bought it brand new for like $200 or something.
It was fun.
But anyway, so I went to buy the upgrade of that boat, which was a little drift boat, little Hyde, which Hyde is a reputable company for all zero people that are listening, like dirt bikes that care about drift boats.
Levi's listening.
Yeah, Levi Kitchen, if you're listening, I got a Hyde, or I
Hey.
had one.
Congrats last Sunday.
Dude, we'll talk about that in a second because
Yeah.
Levi was ripping. Anyway, so I went to buy this boat, And-
Saturday.
got the guy down to $2 grand. I was like, all right, I'll run by the bank real quick. Banks were closed, obviously. It was like 9:00 at night. Went to the ATM,
Can only
max
pull out.
$1,000 pull out.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
Yeah, let me pull out 1,000. And so I think I called him. I was like, yo, dude, like, I don't let me pull out $1,000. She's like, well, you can just Venmo me.
I wish.
I was like, sweet. So I Venmoed him $1,000, gave him 1,000 cash, and now we're like friends. He actually messaged me today about.
Oh wow.
I mean, with fishing, like once you kind of meet someone, David knows.
Yeah.
Once you meet someone that likes to fly fish, you're like, all
Especially
right,
in
we're best
Nashville.
friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shocks, pegs, lucky.
But
Take it off any sig jumps.
yeah.
He meets someone new.
So yeah, I bought a boat on Venmo. So if you want to Venmo David or me for this bike,
Go for it.
come to
We'll sell it to
Nashville.
you.
Use discount code D class.
Yeah, there was some guy trying to buy it, and like he
Didn't
met.
like walk up to the garage here and try to buy it?
Oh no, that was a whole different thing.
That was-
we talked about that on the last podcast.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't even here for that.
No, this was like I made a TikTok or something talking about something in the garage, and like I glanced by your bike. I was like, yeah, by the way, that bike's for sale. And then someone messaged me about it, and I was like, kind of talking back and forth with him about it. I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
where are you at? He's like, I'm in Washington State.
Oh, is that the guy that offered the car as the trade?
Yeah. It was
Oh man, that
What
like
kind of car
Subaru.
was it?
I think it was like a
like
Subaru,
a pink Subaru.
like a 90s
No way.
Subaru that was pink.
Dude, that would have
It
been
was honestly-
Yeah, honestly, it had like the wheels, and I was
Oh.
The car was worth some money, but
like, yeah,
A, the guy was in Washington State.
Yeah,
B,
not
I don't
gonna
think that's
happen.
what David likes to drive.
wap pop pow.
boom, pang, 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 one ta ta tang, wap pa pa pow, wap bang bang.
I just haven't put effort into selling it yet. Like I haven't listed it at all yet, but I bought this
Yeah.
new street bike and paid too much for it, and now I probably need to
David's
offset
married, so you know
that.
he's
And
got
married to the bike.
he's got real
and-
life.
to the bike.
He's got real life obligations.
yeah.
real life. Yo, like my life ain't real.
he's got a wife and a dog, and you know he's just a
The
few
whole
steps.
shebang.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
My bike is my kid.
bike's
I
how
was
you go.
gonna say, I think the next closest thing.
yeah.
About as expensive as formula.
Honestly.
Oh.
So what we're gonna talk about? Oh, I did want to mention the first time me and David ever tried to ride dirt bikes.
that's
Oh,
right,
yeah.
So
was
let-
this
let
before
David- I
I
wanna
had
hear- I
my
wanna hear
bike
David
too?
say
When it
this.
was just your bike, or
yeah, it was only my bike. You want to tell
Yeah.
the story?
Yeah. I don't think I've heard David.
Well,
tell
this
us.
this was like Connor had gotten. This is the point to where Connor had gotten his bike, and I was like, oh man, I really want another dirt bike now. And so there's a track that it's not even. This track's not even really like open to the public anymore.
They tried to open to the public, and then
Kind of got shut
their
down.
neighbors
because of-
were like not
complaints.
about it, and they somehow got the law involved. I don't know,
Yeah,
something dumb.
long story about that. But they opened for a day, and it was still really cold that day. I don't even remember what month it was, but I guess it would have been January,
Yeah, probably
early
January.
February, probably.
Hmm.
So we rode out there. It's like 45 minutes from here. It's honestly probably the closest track besides Joe's to us. And, you know, we were pumped. We were just going to kind of take turns riding it. And I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to do this because I hadn't been on a bike. I sold my bikes back in like middle school or right before middle school. Like I had them when I was really young. And so I was like, I can't wait to get back on this. Like, this is definitely going to make me get a new bike. We get out there and get Connor's bike ready and just kicking it and kicking it and kicking
Well, I
it.
had like it was my first time like putting on my gear.
Yeah.
I like bought all this gear on Facebook Marketplace. I felt so cool.
Looking legit.
Had my
kinda.
Oakley goggles.
Yeah.
And I put it all on, and then
Yeah.
so we get there, and I'm like,
Bleh, bleh, bleh. I'm just like kicking it and kicking it. And we're like changing spark plugs and this and that. That bike would not start. I mean, we had
Oh,
people
man.
coming up to us and they're like, you guys need help. And like,
oh, we had some super nice people helping
yeah,
us. I'm like,
everybody was trying
we
to
had.
help.
I don't honestly. I still don't know what was wrong with the bike.
It
'Cause
had spark.
It had. We were like touching the spark plug while
That
kicking
one
it,
dude
and it
was like,
shocking.
"Oh,"
Yeah.
touched the spark, and we're like, "Scott Spark," and
Electrified.
I had a bottle of starter fluid, and I was like
Yeah.
dumping it down in the car.
I could have told you what happened. You flooded it. I don't
Well,
care.
no,
what
we were pulling the bulb off of the car. We took the whole car
we
off.
let it drain,
dried it out.
It was not.
We
one
tried to
work
start it for like
us.
2 hours.
Then, like, didn't you get it home and it like started right up?
Well, so we ended up while we were there. Remember, we got a tow strap, and this guy pulled me around the field for like 20 minutes straight. I had it in second gear, and it was like the motor was turning, but it just nothing.
That's crazy.
And so
It was active.
finally, we were just like, well, guess we're not riding.
Yeah.
And so I packed the bike back up, went home. I was like, I'll deal with this tomorrow. The next day, I got it out. First kick, started right up.
We're like, what?
That's the biggest FU I've ever heard from a motorcycle.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So and then probably 2 weeks later, I bought my bike. Where was the first track we rode?
Copperhead.
It was
Oh.
Copperhead.
It was
yeah, in
just me and
Kentucky.
David.
There was
Oh, wow.
nobody else that day. He was like, "You guys can come out if you want." There's probably maybe one other person.
You met the guy that runs
Yeah,
the place,
yeah,
right?
he's
Super
awesome,
nice
yeah.
guy.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Nobody else was there. I literally found the videos the other day of some of the jumps I was taking, and I thought it was like so cool and hitting some fat jumps, and you're just like, meow. And then, like,
I mean, that still happens.
It
but-
still happens, but yeah, I was like, God, the good old days.
Do you wanna tell them about the first time I rode a dirt bike since forever? Like when we took your bike to Copperhead and I rode your bike out on the track. You remember that? I mean, I can tell.
Yeah, we rode at night. I don't
was
remember
gonna say,
any,
that
I don't
was the
remember
night
anything
ride.
happening besides my fender falling off.
I almost crashed like 5 times and like endoed like almost 3 times.
On my bike?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
remember that.
So right
Sick.
after the finish line, it's that right hander and it's that jump. I hit neutral so many times over that jump. I don't know how. And then like I just like, oh, I'm gonna send it this time. And so I came around the corner, wah, got on the power band, second gear, and I hit it. Goes wah, like almost like straight over the bars, bro. Like I thought for sure I was going down, and then I land like in a nose wheelie, and then it, like nose.
That
and then-
jump was kind of hard when we were like not good. Like now it's
Yeah.
easy, but
Yeah.
it's like kind of like
the
a
finish
booter.
line jump.
No, right after the finish line.
Oh, gotcha.
Remember?
Yeah.
So
You wrecked on the finish line when we were there
Yeah,
the first time, right?
that-
It was
honestly,
so muddy.
that still is probably the worst wreck I've had.
Yeah. It's so you hit that finish line jump, and then right when you land, it was it had rained a few days before, and there's just this pile of mud.
Yeah, it was so the
And
day
I wasn't even out there. I was by the car, and I turned around, and Connor's just on the ground, and I was like, "Oh gosh,
He's dead.
yeah, basically there was like there so the track was
ground.
the track was in weird shape where it was like either like super dry or like a mud hole.
it was weird." Yeah,
And so right after the
Yeah.
finish line, there was one good line where you could like get through it and it'd be fine. But we weren't. So keep in mind, this was our second time ever riding dirt bikes.
Yeah.
We weren't clearing the finish line jump, and I eventually was like, I'm gonna send it, and I made it like pretty much. I think I made it like 7/8 of the way. I think my front tire cleared it, back tire didn't, but I was like way too far left. Like if it was dry, it would have been fine. But
yeah.
I was going straight into the mud hole, and I saw it, and I just like was like, here we go. And I went and my front wheel just knifed to the left.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
And I just
exactly.
slammed my head down.
That's like verbatim the same crash I had that put me in the hospital, but that was also
He's like,
third gear.
put you in the hospital. Like it was such a dramatic
for 5
thing.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
The doctor-
flirting with nurses.
We were there long enough for the doctor to tell Hayden there was nothing wrong with him.
wow. Hey, Hayden, the only thing wrong with you is your brain.
it's like
It's really weird.
it's like in Step Brothers. It's so bad. He's like,
yeah.
there's so much blood.
Yeah. Hayden was in there in a wheelchair playing basketball. He had
Oh my
stabbed himself in the legs.
Basketball.
Remember that
I'm on
in
fire.
Talladega Nights?
I can't use my legs are broken. What don't you understand? My legs are broken. You're gonna tell a cripple? Ricky Bobby, you're fine. He stepped. If I was fine, could I do this?
Yeah, that was you after when we went to the hospital that one
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Dude, that was so much fun though. Honestly, I'd do it again. No, I'm just kidding. But man, yeah.
Good times.
Honestly,
What time are we at? We've been going for 42 minutes.
that's pretty good.
Anything else y'all want to talk about?
Anything in the moto world? Want to talk
We know about
Levi?
Thunder Valley. Yeah, Levi, our boy Levi
Levi
pulled the whole shot and just
dude. That was it.
didn't look back.
You know, I really thought back to when I saw Levi take the whole shot and then end up winning. I really thought of James Stewart when he would line up on the 125 gate without tear offs, and like what a
That
mental.
one time.
I don't know. Maybe it was one time. I
Wait,
don't know.
hold on. What does this have to do anything with Levi?
Levi got the whole shot and won the race. Like he literally could have been out there without tear offs. Like how cool
He
is
had some
that?
lappers.
Yeah, but like I don't know. That's a mental thing right there. I don't know. The whole shot he pulled though, dude. That Yamaha was ripping.
Blue Crew.
That dude in the mountains at elevation, those things made more power than any other bike out there by a long shot. Like
I mean, all the bikes were equally suffering from.
of course, but Blue Crew really had their bike set up that weekend. I mean,
They
Yamaha
got it pretty well every weekend, but
Yeah.
true that.
Levi finally figured it out.
Looked
And-
so good, so
Dude.
good.
And on the podium, Jet was saying, he was like, "Yeah, I was trying to put a run in on Levi. He was like, I just couldn't. He was like, Levi was too fast." I was like,
Let's go.
so I watched the race. I watched the race live. Somehow, by the magic.
Oh, don't even get me started. Should we just
somehow-
start roasting Mav TV
Somehow
on a
Mav,
podcast?
somehow Mav TV let me watch the Moto live
Yeah.
for that little part, and then something jacked up. But I was watching it live by myself. Y'all, I think y'all were like doing some
I was
street bike thing or something.
Were we riding? Or I was golfing, or yeah, I was
You're
golfing. I was golfing. Yeah.
And I was like, I stood up the whole time in my room. I was like, let's go, Levi.
Dude.
And
Oh,
and dude, he came across the finish line. And then I knew what happened, but I couldn't tell Hayden.
Yeah.
Because Hayden's always like, don't tell me, because usually you're either like working or you got something going on Saturdays where we have to watch the race later. So I was like, oh, I can't tell them what's going on. I was like, dude, you gotta watch 250 Moto 1. You gotta watch 250 Moto 1. And so finally we both got to watch it, and like it was just so hype.
I actually haven't even watched Moto 2. Who wins Moto 2? Jet?
Hunter, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even see Hunter.
Jet got the overall,
because he placed second.
and then Levi got third overall.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
podium
yeah.
for Levi.
Oh, I knew he podiumed, but I thought he got second.
Jet, Hunter, Levi overall podium. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But
Oh man, that champagne must taste so good. One day,
speaking of, we might get to taste some of it at Redbud.
dude. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to go to Redbud. 4th of July weekend. It's the weekend before.
It's in
4th
like
of July.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's coming up.
dude, I am so stoked to go
Yeah,
to
so
Redbud.
we're going to Redbud for those listening.
Oh man, yeah, home track for me. Honestly, like I grew up going to Redbud. 10 minutes from the track. Holy cow, the atmosphere there is unreal. Like, there's literally, I've never been to more of an exciting place. Like the energy there, everyone has the exact same mentality, and it's like scream Redbud as loud as you can, and just like go crazy.
Big old 4th of July party.
It is
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
sick.
We'll
We're
be
having a
at
good time.
B lot. We should do the night races. We have to bring our bikes, bro. We can literally sign up and do the night races. I'm telling you.
That'd be kind of sick.
how
actually.
They have a,
sick
they
that
have
would
a
be.
D-class night race.
Yes, they do. It's C, D, and B. Like they don't have any A-class riders there. It's all like, I mean, Stank Dog did it and like he won. Oh, actually, I can't remember if Stank Dog won or not. I know there was one kid just throwing fat whips just because, you know, he wanted to have fun. But like you can literally go in there and race. Like bring your bikes. We'll race.
We'll see. If
I'll drive the Tacoma so that way we can
well,
do
that's the only reason I wouldn't bring the bikes is because of
it. Yeah, I wouldn't
gas
expect you to
prices.
haul a trailer up there at all. We could
Yeah.
bring our bikes in the
It
back
would
of
cost
the truck.
us like $500 in
Yeah.
gas.
But
Um,
I gotta get my bike ready for Redbud. Oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, and then Loretta's would be here soon after
oh,
That's so Redbud is for me, Connor's Loretta's.
that. We got to hit that up.
oh yeah, we had so much fun last year. I'm
Yeah.
like trying to like take days off work to go. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
that'd
I'd be
awesome.
down.
So here's the one thing that I realized is kind of a bummer. The last day of Loretta's is the same day as the IndyCar race here.
Are you
It's the
serious?
same day as the first. So the
I don't know, I'd
IndyCar.
almost ready to go to Loretta's.
I mean, I wanna
I'm
go-
for sure going to Loretta's on Saturday.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge
So the
IndyCar
IndyCar
fan.
race is Saturday, Sunday. So I think the main
the race is on Sunday. Yeah, the
Okay.
qualifying's on Saturday.
Okay, so we'll just miss qualifying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could care
that's
less about
fine.
qualifying. Yeah,
That's going to be a fun weekend.
dude.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do Loretta's. Are you gonna go to the IndyCar race?
Oh, yeah.
Heck
my
yeah.
my dad's trying to come up.
Yeah, sweet.
Come
We
on,
get tickets
Greg.
yet?
Yeah.
Come on, Greg.
Greg,
Let's go.
I know you watch this, Greg.
Shout out, Greg.
Dude, we'll get all the
Greg.
we'll get all the dads in. I'm sure your dad would like
Oh,
to
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Your
come on,
dad would like
Anthony.
to go.
My dad. My dad will
I was
slide.
talking to Matt Rowland.
Yeah.
Matt wants to go, and he
Subaru
wants to bring
Matt?
his dad, Subaru Matt.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we're just gonna have a big old like father son hangout.
Let's go.
But first,
Got
we're
it.
gonna go to Loretta's.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna have so much fun at Loretta's.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, I know you watch these, but we'll chat for a bit.
yeah, we're gonna meet some more cool people. We're gonna try and do an in-person podcast with some people. Dayton said he was down to do that.
Hmm.
Also, shout out to all the people that are qualifying for Loretta's right now.
Yeah, honestly, those kids just put in so much work.
Yeah.
And, oh, you guys are killing it, crushing it. Dayton, I'm so stoked to see you. That'd be sweet.
Dayton qualified for Loretta's on a bike with
Yeah, the
electrical
gas.
tank numbers.
Oh my gosh,
Let's
how
go.
freaking sick is that? If that is not like the biggest like flex out there,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
You
imagine
don't need the prettiest,
Yeah.
biggest, baddest
Imagine-
bike.
imagine
just
Well,
get
what's
it
funny
done.
is he's got a sick bike, but it
Yeah.
blew up,
Yeah.
and he had to use some other bike, and
Oh
he
my
didn't have
gosh.
time to order graphics for it, so he just like slapped his number on there with electrical tape.
Imagine lining up to a gate with a guy on a gas with electrical tape on his bike and thinking, "Who's this scrub?" And then he hole shots and wins. Like,
We don't know if he whole shot,
but
but
like I don't know. Imagine
he qualified for Loretta's on it, so that's all that matters.
that's just
That's
sweet.
sick.
But yeah, that's gonna be super hype.
Yeah,
I think I've got it in to get a media pass for that too. So
that'd be awesome.
me and Team Fraud are gonna be chilling, and
Chilling.
I'm gonna finally get the Loretta's.
Lanyard.
No, the what do you call it? Like
Oh,
the
media
vest.
vest.
Well, everyone dreams of getting that Loretta's vest. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
finally get one. It's just
you
gonna
go.
say media on the back.
Can you bring
Dang.
assistants? Get two like
Assistant
second
to the
and third
assistant.
shooter. We just have like little like Polaroids. Or just, like,
Polaroid. David's out there with his iPhone.
I'm out of film.
my,
Reloading.
my iPhone with my broken camera right now. Everything's blurry.
Dude, it's just like trying to focus the whole time.
Oh god.
We're gonna have a good time. We might need to look into like taking some days off work.
Yeah.
Because obviously, so last year we went on Saturday. Probably, I mean, I thought it was pretty hype. Apparently, there's other days that are just as fun, if not more fun, though.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
probably be less people too if you went like Friday or something as well.
yeah,
Be cool.
it's only like an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm down to like just go after work some days
Heck yeah.
if we can.
that'd be sick.
Anyway, y'all want to wrap it here?
I think that's good.
David, welcome to the podcast.
Heck yeah.
You'll probably see him on future episodes because
I'm around a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, usually when we're wrenching in the garage, so we do these podcasts on Thursdays. Usually, if we're not podcasting, we're like working on the bikes. And David's usually either hanging or working on his bike or doing something. So
I feel like Thursdays have become like the night that we all just kind of like
it's
have
like the night
dinner.
that we don't have like anything scheduled.
yeah, just kind of meet up, hang out.
And also usually like if we're riding Saturday, and it's like, all right, sweet, we'll work on the bikes Thursday.
yeah.
So
Yep.
dope. Well,
Thanks for listening.
that's
guys.
a wrap. We will be back. We're gonna try and get a Zoom guest probably on the next one.
Sounds good.
I need to reach out to some people and see who wants to be on. But we'll try and get someone that has some interesting stuff to say, so you don't have to listen to just us blabbering as much.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Later.